Enshrouded requires you to offer resources in order to level up your flame altar. Doing so unlocks more flame altars for you to build extra settlements, the opportunity to increase the size of your settlements, and new shroud levels to venture into, which will allow you to unlock new resources and with it more crafting options, items and recipes. Now unfortunately some of the resources are more difficult to find than others, so today I'm going to show you the locations of all the resources that you require for the first 4 upgrade levels, and then I'll do a 5th one once I've actually done it myself. But do use the timestamps below if you'd rather skip ahead to a certain item you're struggling with, and do hit the thumbs up if you find this video helpful. Now for the first upgrade, the resources are pretty easy to come by. You're going to need 5 of each item, excluding the spark. Now the resin can be found by chopping any of the trees and it's dropped randomly. However, trees with the red leaves tend to drop 2 to 3 resin at a time, so do focus them if you're struggling to get any. But with you only needing 5 resources, it's not going to be that difficult to find. The red mushrooms are also scattered across the meadows and the various fields, and really easy to come by at the start of the game. And then you also have the wolves and the goats that are available in the starting area, which will provide ample bones and furs for you to get started with. The spark is also found at a flame altar or the flame sanctums. Now these are scattered across the map. There are many of these and you can just harvest them by going to them and then looting the flame. But you are going to need a lot of these as you make your way throughout these levels, so make sure that you go to each one when you discover it. The shroud liquid is also really easy to come by. Once you go into the shroud for the first time, you can find swollen pods scattered throughout. If you loot them, you will have the shroud liquid given to you from them. Now once you have unlocked the 2nd level of the flame, you'll have access to the 3rd level. Now this time you'll need 10 of the following items, as well as 5 sparks and the Matron metal head. Now the wax can be found by looting beehives. You can shoot these down if they're just out of reach. Alternatively, you can find them in many containers around the flame sanctums and also the spire towers as well. So if you are going to be breaking up the containers, do use a pickaxe. It's going to be the quickest way in order to break those containers. Now in the starting area, you can also find a deposit of Flintstone. Digging down, you can follow the deposit of flint and it will definitely have enough for you. But alternatively, there is a mine across from the bridge that's easy to locate, and you can also find deposits all across the cliffside as well. When it comes to charcoal, you can produce it in a kiln once you've unlocked the blacksmith craftsman. The shroud wood, once again, you'll need to head into the shrouded area, and you can collect it by felling the trees that are in the shroud. And speaking of being in the shrouded area, you'll also find the salt around there as well. There's actually a little, well, quite a big deposit just south of the Alexa world, and it's in a little tower ruin in the shroud. But alternatively, you can seek out the salt mine, which is in the far west of the shrouded area, and you'll also find other little deposits scattered amongst the shroud every now and then as well. Now for this level, you'll also need to find 5 more sparks, so make sure to visit all of the flame altars and shrines as I mentioned before. Finally, the metal matron head can be found by killing the boss at Scavenger Hill, just past the newly unlocked shroud. Do be careful there, she can hit very hard, but she's easy enough to range, and once you've killed her, you will be taking her head as well. Now the 4th level is where it begins to get a little bit more time consuming. You'll need 15 of each item this time, as well as a fell Whispwyvern head and 10 sparks. Now personally, I really struggled finding amber and had to keep breaking containers in various mines. However, I found a single glistening ore vein of amber, though I expect there to be more throughout the map. It's just I haven't found any more. I have done a lot of searching though, so do let me know if you do find other amber ore veins in the comments below so that anyone else can find them. I'm sure that will be very helpful. Now this ore vein that I've found can be found hugging the south wall and has an orange tinge to it. Now you can find it in the topmost shrouded area in Revelwood. So it's right at the top of the map. Hug that south cliffside, and you should be able to find this orange glistening ore vein of amber. Now, heading through Revelwood to get there, you'll actually find plenty of copper ore as well as the indigo plants. Although if you are struggling with the plants for whatever reason, you can take an indigo plant, and then using the farming equipment, you can create seedlings and then plant them at your base and then harvest them a few days later in game. As for those ores, just to remind you, you will need pickaxes, so make sure to bring one with you. And for mycelium, you can mine the sides of the walls in the shroud. As for the goo, I seem to have a bit of trouble with this because I hadn't really looked into the alchemy. It's not my playstyle. To make the goo, you have to produce the bug dust from critter parts, those blue creatures you see in the shroud, and then you combine that with dirt and the shroud liquid to create goo. And finally, you can then head to the Imperial Palace at Pike Mead's Reach to kill the fell Whispwyvern for its head. Now, level 5 is the penultimate level flame in early access that we have available at the moment. For this, you're going to need to find 20 of each item and a single fell monstrosity head. First, let's cover the shroud items though. Located in the east of the map, here you can chop the large mushroom foliage for the mint mushroom meat. Pretty much all of the mushrooms that you can find there have mint mushroom meat, and I recommend felling it with a felling axe to make it easier for yourself. And then the ammonia glands can be found by killing the red walking mushrooms that you find in the shroud. You'll want to shoot their red pods to release them from their body, and then you can pick them up, and then once you kill them, there'll be a few more on their body to loot as well. You'll find about 8 to 9 ammonia glands per kill, so it's pretty easy to do once you've found it, 2-3 of them. Tin ore can also be found in the shroud. Now, I have a base just east of the Nomad Highlands that has tin on the ridge leading into the Umber, but you can also find tin mines and deposits scattered throughout. You can see a few on my map here. And we then have the Nomad Highlands themselves. They have the Rooibos scattered throughout. You'll be able to get the Rooibos from the green-leafed bushes. However, the yellow-flowered Rooibos plants offer 2 to 3 Rooibos per pick, so focus on them if you see them in a group. We then have the fossilized bone, which you can see these giant bone structures that are sticking out of the ground throughout the Nomad Highlands. Just grab a pick and you'll be able to gather the fossilized bone from them as well. Great for if you're doing some farming. After you've collected another 20 sparks, you'll then have to take out the fell monstrosity, which is located at the top of the Nomad Highlands, and I find it really easy to kill with arrows, so just keep avoiding its attack and you should be fine. And there you are, that's the first 5 levels of upgrades for the Flame Altar. Now again, I will be covering the final tier once I've done it myself, so make sure to subscribe for more. But thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like the video if you did find it helpful. Until next time, special thanks goes to all of our amazing supporters on Patreon, most notably our Solarclipse patrons James Owen, Firefless, and our Lunars, the Calamity, Ben, and Star, and our Blood Moon of the day, which today is the Salchin Husky. Until next time, as always, ciao for now.